I came to Star like many other participants come to Star. You're looking for something, something is missing. And for me personally, I was in a personal crisis. I found myself having everything that you could want in life. I felt like I was at the top of my life. I had accumulated everything that I thought that I wanted, and something was missing. I didn't want to die, but I didn't care if I lived. I just couldn't picture the next 25 years of my life living like this. There was an emotional void. There was disconnection from family, friends, things that used to bring me joy. I just wasn't an active participant in my own life. And so I started Googling, and when I came upon Star, there was something about it, about finding yourself, that I really was drawn to. And I kept coming back, and Star just kept coming up. And I'm a believer in the universe, in what is meant for you will show up in your life if you're there to accept it. So I took the plunge, and I signed up for Star to work on myself, to find my purpose in life again. And I'm really happy that I did that. So the profound moment for me that stayed with me is when we learned about projection and transference. And what I was able to do was to find the causal effects of my behavior as adult and tie those back to childhood traumas that happened. So what happened was situations would trigger me at Star, and I would see myself reacting as a child. And that really helped me to understand that those were automatic responses, that I was reacting as a wounded child, as a hurt child, and I wasn't actually reacting to life as an adult. So Star taught me to live in my wise adult and to be able to understand when I was being triggered, or when I was projecting onto other people things that happened in my past, and it was just automatic responses. The facilitators are absolutely amazing people, kind, caring, compassionate people who hold space for people without judgment. And that is something that you just don't find out in the real world. So in Star, it may be the first time in your life that you have someone that really listens to you and that you feel heard. We've heard that from participants, and I know from my experience, it's the first time where I felt heard and seen. And the facilitators do that. And that's an extraordinary gift. You know, I didn't know a lot of history before I went and took the Star process. But after the Star process, I really dove into Barbara, and I wanted to learn as much about Barbara as I could. I read anything that she published. I read her book. I read information that was published about her online. It really struck me that she was such a compassionate person, and really was an out-of-the-box thinker, that she was able to come up with a program that was so feeling-based and not thinking-based. And that is the main thing that I love about Star. And I feel like that's one of the things that differentiates Star from a lot of other programs, is that it's really about feeling your feelings. And if we could, which a lot of people have said in the past, if we could think our way out of this, we would have. But we really have to feel our feelings. We can't just think. A lot of us read every book. I know that was me. I had every book, self-help book next to my bed. Like any self-help book to try to figure out what was wrong with me. And once I went to STAR, I realized there was actually nothing wrong with me. And that's the program. The program is, and what Barbara really taught is, there's nothing wrong with you. You've just got to get back to the part before all these things piled on top of you, whether it was fear or whether it was learned behaviors from your parents and learned behaviors from society and how to act. Once we could get back to who we are before all those things, that's where we were fine. We were perfect. If you were considering taking STAR for the first time, I would want you to know that this is going to be, at least it was for me, a journey of no return. You can't go to STAR and go through the process and leave the same person that you came in. It's almost impossible, because we will guide you through a process that takes you back to loving yourself, showing compassion for others, which then you're able to show compassion to yourself. And it's going to be the beginning of a journey. STAR isn't going to heal you, but it will start your journey or further the journey you've already been on. But there's going to be a lot of work that's going to happen after STAR. And what I feel is that what happened for me is you don't notice the small changes over time, and you may feel like this process, you failed the process, you didn't get it. But 6 months down the road, you may have an experience where you go, oh, wow, I'm reacting differently to that than I would have before STAR. And then 9 months later, the same thing happens. And a year after STAR, the same thing happens. So you don't notice major changes per se, but over time, you will say, wow, I am a lot different than before I did the process. And that's the magic of STAR. It's a furthering of your journey.